Namaste, this is Vinayak back again for you, and we shall continue with our next chapter, that is from geography. We are going to learn the next chapter, that is from geography, and the name of the chapter is climate. You all know that climate is very important in our life, and we have a great bonding with it. That is, it gives us bonding with our lifestyle, the way we have our clothing, the way of our food, and what are the food we eat. It all depends on the climate. What are the clothes we wear? It all depends on the climate. And especially in India, we have many types of climate. For example, broadly, it is based, and we say tropical and subtropical climate. Why we have two types of climate, that is tropical and subtropical? The reason is Tropic of Cancer, it is passing through our country. Exactly, it is dividing our country into two parts. So that's why in the North India we have a different type of climate, and in the south we have different type of climate. So even our clothing varies, our traditions vary, our culture vary, and there is even our festivals are depending on the climate, because many of our festivals are the harvesting festivals, like Ugadi we call in southern part of India Ugadi, and in the North India we call in South India Ugadi, Sankranti are the main harvesting festivals, whereas in North India they have Lori and Baisakhi, like that they call those festivals. So these are all almost, they are the harvesting festivals. So it depends as per the climatic conditions and climate. And you all know in the North India it is very cold, so they wear woolen clothes and warm clothes, whereas in southern part the temperature does not go so lower part. So we wear normal clothes. So this is the difference, and all this is depending on the monsoon. Now, first we shall understand what is weather, the definition of weather. Weather refers to the state of the atmosphere over an area at any point of time. The elements of weather are temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, speed, humidity, and precipitation. All these are the elements of weather. So I request you, you can note down these elements of weather to understand in a better way. So example here, I have taken one example, that is today's weather. Maximum temperature is 29 degrees centigrade, minimum is 24 degrees centigrade. Weather refers to the state of the atmosphere over an area at any point of time. The elements of weather are temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, speed, humidity, and precipitation. I request all of you to note down these elements of weather which are important for understanding. So here I have taken one example. Today's weather, temperature maximum 29 degrees centigrade, minimum 24 degrees centigrade, atmospheric pressure 74%, wind speed 10 kilometers per hour to 35 kilometers per hour. that is the breeze or the wind which is blowing at what speed, that is calculated per hour. Humidity is 68% to 75%. Precipitation is nil. So these are the things what we check in the weather report. Climate. What is climate? Weather is different and climate is different. Climate refers to the average weather conditions and variations over a large area for a long period of time. That is more than 30 years. That is all the weather conditions together for the past almost for more than 30 years is calculated, and with that the climate is calculated. There are many types of climates. So first one is monsoon type of climate, desert type of climate, Caribbean type of climate, etc. But in India, which type of climate do we have? Completely we depend on the monsoon. So we are depending on the monsoon type of climate. So there are climatic controls. There are 6 major controls of the climate of any place. How we check the climatic controls? The 6 major controls are: first one, latitude. Due to the curvature of Earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to the latitude. See, now the Earth is round in shape, that is oval. Then sun is at a distance, and the sunlight, when it falls on the Earth, it takes longer time for the sunlight to reach to the poles, both northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, but in the center, that is equator, and between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So there the sunlight falls very fast. So that's why latitude is a major control for the climate. Because of this curvature, we call, because it is curved. So because of this curvature of the Earth, the amount of solar energy received, it varies. It varies from poles to the equator. Altitude. Altitude, as one goes from the surface of the Earth to the higher altitudes, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Altitude means height. So example, suppose if we go to the hill station, the temperature will be very cold, cooler than the normal temperature in the normal geographical areas. That's why in the summer season, people like to visit for a holiday to the hill stations. The reason is, as you go above the Earth's surface, as we go up, the temperature decreases. So wherever in the hilly areas, like Ooty in the southern India, Tirupati, that is Tirumala, if you go there, or almost all the Ooty places in Ooty, and then in the northern areas like Himalayan region, Kullu, Manali, in Rajasthan, Mount Abu, all these are hill stations. And even many places in Karnataka, Coorg and other places. The altitude there are higher in height. So when you go to a higher position, the atmosphere becomes less dense. So that's why the temperature decreases there. Generally 2 to 3 degrees there will be variation. So best example in Tirupati. Tirupati, if it is 24 degrees in Tirupati town, if you go to Tirumala Hills, you find there maybe temperature will be around 20 degrees. Cooler, lesser. Why? Because we are going on a altitude, like that. Pressure and wind system. Pressure and wind system, the same example I can talk about Ooty. Ooty also. In Coimbatore, Coimbatore is the foothill. From there people travel to Ooty. So when they reach Ooty, there will be a variation of 6 to 7 degrees of the temperature. So next one is pressure and wind system. The pressure and wind system of any area depend on the latitude and altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. The pressure and the wind of any area depend on the latitude and altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. So, we always pressure and wind system, it depends on the altitude, the height from the earth surface, and also the latitude. So it depends on that. So there you will find the pressure and wind will be different, and then thus it influences the temperature, and even there will be difference in the rainfall pattern. And now fourth one is distance from the sea, or we can say nearness to the sea, or continentality. Continentality here, as the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influence decreases and the people experience extreme weather conditions. This condition is known as continentality. Here, the weather condition near the sea is different, and if it is away from the sea, it is different. For example, when you go near the sea coast or coastal areas, you find humidity will be very, very high. Humidity will be high. Why? Because the general atmospheric pressure is available. Along with that, whatever the breeze or the winds which blow from the sea, it carries a lot of moisture of salt water. It carries that moisture and it blows towards the land surface area. So there, that's why it becomes like a hot air and humidity increases. That's why it will be very much sweaty in the coastal areas. And there, generally, even for example, we see food items, we cannot keep it for longer time, it gets spoiled. And even metal things, they get rusted very soon because of these type of winds and because of these type of climatic conditions. So that's why distance from the sea is a very important aspect for the climate. And then ocean currents. Ocean currents along with the onshore winds, affect the climate of the area. For example, any coastal area with warm or cold ocean currents flowing past it will be warmed or cooled if the winds are onshore. So, as I was telling you, the ocean currents along with onshore winds, if they merge both, they affect the climate of that area. Any coastal area with warm and or cold ocean currents flowing past it, it will be warmed or cold. So if the ocean currents are cool, in the evening it will be cold. In the daytime it will be very hot. Like that, the humidity changes a lot and there will be a lot of moisture in the wind. So that's why humidity will be very high in those areas. Relief. Relief plays a major role in determining the climate of a place. High mountains act as barriers for cold or hot winds. They may also cause rainfall if they are high enough and lie in the path of rain-bearing winds. This relief plays a major role where on the foothills of the mountains or the hills. Now normally when you see in the Eastern Ghats area or Western Ghats area or Himalayan ranges, there you find sudden rainfall and sudden changes in the climatic condition. Why? Because these mountains or hills act as barriers for the cold or hot winds to move forward. So what happens? They go and hit the mountains or the hills, and then they cannot carry that heavy moisture in the form of clouds. So they start raining immediately. So one more thing I would like to share: in your textbooks, you have many sources, boxes given, where you have lot of information. And one I would like to share here with the relief. The clouds, what are clouds? Actually, they carry water vapor. All the water vapor is collected and they move in the atmosphere, in the clouds, in the sky. When they are moving, they become heavy. They are heavy because they are carrying water. Water vapor is carried. So when they go and hit any mountain or a hill, they cannot withstand that heaviness, and suddenly they start raining there itself. So such type of rainfall is called orographic rainfall. What do we call? We call it as orographic rainfall. Then see here, I have some this one here, continentality, how temperature conditions more extreme, land warms and cools rapidly, less evaporation, and it takes place. And here, this is the ocean currents, how they marine means water. Temperature conditions are more moderate, water warms and cools slowly, greater evaporation with the latent heat, immediate heat. So there is a cycle here. Then oxygen levels, how it reduces when you go to altitude, when you climb in a higher position. See, this is the sea level, 100% oxygen we have, 84%. Like that, when you go to resort, here all these examples I have taken, like Colorado, Japan, Fuji mountains, Mount Everest in Nepal. How much? We have only 33% of oxygen. So that's why as we go in the higher altitude, the oxygen level reduces. And here, see, polar, subpolar low, how is the weather conditions? Intertropical, tropical easterly, subtropical high. We are into this zone, subtropical zone. So ITCZ, this is again area covering the equator part where it will be hot. Why? Because 0 degrees, their latitude, their sunlight will be more, and it is having maximum almost all year it will be hot. And you see here in the last slide I have taken how sunlight reaches. See the time factor, how much difference it is. The distance between the poles and the sun is more, and the distance between the equator and sun is less. So that's why the climatic conditions vary. Now atmosphere, I have many slides here taken, the same thing even you have in your textbook also. See, I'm sorry, yeah, no. Tropic of Cancer, we are here. This map here, the globe has taken in the other side. So, Tropic of Cancer, equator. These yellow arrow marks are ITCZ, Intertropical Continent Zone. You have a source-based box in your textbook. You can go through it, and all the winds are blowing towards ITCZ from the southern hemisphere, and from northern hemisphere also they are coming. So these convert into trade winds. They are called trade winds. They join together and move towards the western side of the earth. So they are almost near African areas, African islands. So they are moving. They are called as trade winds. So almost all types of winds we have taken. Westerlies in the above Tropic of Cancer and below Tropic of Capricorn. And then subtropical jet streams, they are near Japan. So all this you have in your textbook. We'll go in detail. Now, factors affecting India's climate. First, latitude. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country from the Rann of Kutch. The Rann of Kutch is in Gujarat in the west and to Mizoram in the east. Almost half of the country lying in the south of the Tropic of Cancer belongs to the tropical area. So we call tropical climate. All the remaining area in the north of the tropic lies in the subtropical area. Altitude. India has mountains to the north which have an average elevation of 6,000 meters and above. India also has a vast coastline where maximum elevation is about 30 meters. The Himalayas prevent the cold winds from Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. So even Himalayas are acting as the barriers and they are stopping the cold winds which are coming from the poles, from the North Pole. We studied this even in the first and second chapter also. It is because of these mountains that subcontinent experiences comparatively milder winter than Central Asia. So that's why the North India, like states like Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, are bit cold. Pressure and wind system. The climate and associated weather conditions in India are governed by the following atmospheric conditions: pressure and surface wind, upper air circulation, western cyclonic disturbances and tropical cyclones, ocean currents. Ocean currents with onshore winds affect the climate of the area. For example, any coastal area with warm or cold ocean currents flowing past it will be warmed or cooled if the winds are onshore. So these ocean currents, because we have vast coastal area, so we have almost, because India is a peninsula surrounded by three sides of water, almost all the southern part of India is having coastal line. So we have long ocean currents along with the onshore winds. This affects climate with warm or cold oceans current flowing past it. It will be warmed or cooled by winds onshore. So always there will be lot of change in the weather conditions and climatic conditions. Distance from the sea. As the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influence decreases and people experience extreme weather conditions. This condition is known as continentality. So here, when you move from the coastal area to the center part of the country, you find the temperature will be extreme and weather condition will be different. You find less humidity in the central part of the area, region, whereas if you go near the sea, you find more humidity. So this is all continentality. Relief features. High mountains acts as barriers for cold or hot winds. They may also cause rainfall. What I was saying, orographic rainfall. they will experience orographic rainfall near the foothills of any mountains or hills, and lie on the path of rain, bearing winds. The leeward side of the mountain remains relatively dry. The other side of the mountain, again, they will be dry. Why? Because the clouds go and hit and they cannot reflect back with much speed. They lose the speed. Suppose if you throw anything on a wall, while reflecting it, it won't bombard. It will lose its speed and intensity and it falls there only. So that's the way. Now, this also is very, very important. Coriolis force. What is Coriolis force? An apparent force caused by the Earth's rotation. See, Earth is a ball. When it rotates, I am talking about rotation, not revolution around the sun, but only about the rotation, that it takes 24 hours. So while Earth is rotating, the force is created around the Earth in the atmospheric pressure in a very less distance. So that force formed is called Coriolis force. Coriolis force is responsible for deflecting towards the right in the northern hemisphere. When the force is deflecting towards the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere, they go into the opposite direction. The force from the Earth from the center, we can say near the equator. So with near the equator, when the force is created while rotating, some of the force goes to the right of the north and some of the left of the south. Now let us have a look at the mechanism of this Coriolis force. Expected path should be they go straight, but why they are going around to the right? Why? The reason is because Earth will be always rotating. So with the rotational force, they slightly get diverted to their direction. So even in the southern also. Pressure and winds. India lies in the region of northeasterly winds. These winds originate from the subtropical high pressure belt on the northern hemisphere. They blow south, get deflected in the right due to the Coriolis force and move on towards the equatorial low pressure zone. So when they are originating, we are in the northeasterly winds. These winds originate from subtropical, that is in the northern side pressure belt. They blow south, they are coming towards south. They get deflected to the right due to the Coriolis force. When they come to the down, they get deflected with the Coriolis force and move on towards the equatorial low pressure zone. These winds carry very little moisture as they originate and blow over land. Because they are blowing over land, they carry very little moisture. Therefore, they bring little or no rainfall because they do not have moisture. Moisture means generally it's nothing but carrying water vapor. So water vapor, because they are moving in the land, they do not have much water content to carry. The pressure and wind condition over India are unique. During winter, there is high pressure area north of Himalayas. Cold, dry winds blow from this region to the south. In summer, a low pressure area develops over interior Asia as well as over northwestern India. Northwestern India means towards Rajasthan and Punjab. This causes a complete reversal of the direction with during the summer. Air moves from high pressure area over the southern Indian Ocean in direction, crosses the equator and turns right to the low pressure area over Indian subcontinent. These are known as southwest monsoon. How monsoon? We checked with the ITCZ. Generally monsoon, it is coming from the ITCZ near Madagascar. It is an island in below African continent. From there, the winds are converging and they are coming towards Arabian Sea and entering India. That's why the first monsoon in India we get in Kerala in the almost early June. Early June we get the first monsoon. So next is important is excuse me, jet stream. These are narrow belt of high altitude westerly winds in the troposphere. These streams are located approximately over 27 degrees to 30 degrees north latitude. North means above equator. Therefore, they are called subtropical westerly jet streams. We come under this. Their speed varies from 110 kilometers per hour in summer to 184 kilometers per hour in winter. These play active role in the eastern side, that is near Japan and Pacific Ocean. Now we are studying about ITCZ. What is this? Intertropical Convergence Zone. Intertropical Convergence Zone. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, is a broad trough. Trough means it's like a open vessel, like a tray. Tray, what we call, in that we can store some water. So water will be stable there. So it is in the shape of a trough. We call it as trough, where something we can store. So is a trough of low pressure, where all the low pressure gets stored in the equatorial latitudes. Equatorial latitude. Why I said Madagascar? Because equator is passing through that area. Madagascar is an island below Africa, near Africa. That is in the African continent. It is one of the islands. This is where the northeast and southeast trade winds converge. They come and converge. We saw in the earlier slides how they are converging there and forming. That area is called ITCZ. This convergence zone lies more or less parallel to the equator, but moves north or south with the apparent movement of the sun. Southern oscillations. What is oscillation? Oscillation means a pendulum oscillates. In your science, physics, you see a pendulum. Previously, in olden days, there were clocks, mechanical clocks. Now we have all electronic clocks where you are keeping a battery and the clock is working. But in olden days, mechanical clocks used to work. They used to have a pendulum. So it moves, comes back, moves, comes back. That is called oscillation. And their time period and time setting will be very much perfectly maintained. It takes that much time only. So our clocks are manufactured using pendulum, means the timing is perfect in that. With that only the minutes and seconds are counted. Right. And even you might have seen the table fans, oscillation. There will be one written there. You can oscillate your table fan. How? If you just click to that button, the fan goes comes back, goes, comes back. That is called oscillation. So normally when the tropical eastern south Pacific Ocean experiences high pressure, the tropical eastern Indian Ocean experiences low pressure. Pacific Ocean, when it has high pressure, Indian Ocean has low pressure. But in certain years, there is a reversal in the pressure conditions. It becomes reverse. Then Indian Ocean will have low pressure, high pressure, and Pacific will have low pressure. This periodic change is known as Southern Oscillation or SO. The difference in pressure over Tahiti and Darwin in northern Australia is computed to predict these intensity of the monsoons. So there they have the control or finding the weather conditions. They have their setup there, offices or whatever equipment they have put there. Tahiti is a island again near below Japan and Australia also. Darwin in northern Australia. To predict they predict the intensity of the monsoons. A feature connected with SO is the El Nino phenomenon, in which a warm ocean current that flows past the Peruvian coast in place of the cold Peruvian current. You know Peru. Peru is a country. Where is it? That is a homework. Whether it is in Africa or South America, you have to find out. Then El Nino phenomenon is with these warm currents. The it flows past in the Peruvian coast. Instead of warm, again, instead of cold, it goes warm current every 2 to 5 years. The changes in pressure conditions are connected to El Nino. Therefore, the phenomenon is referred as ENSO, El Nino Southern Oscillation. Burst of monsoon. The monsoon, unlike the traders, are not steady winds but are pulsating in nature. There is lot of changes affected by different atmospheric conditions encountered by it on its way over the warm tropical seas. The duration of the monsoon is between 100 to 120 days from early June to mid-September. Around the time of its arrival, the normal rainfall increases suddenly and continues for several days. This is known as the burst of monsoon. As I told you, India will welcome the first monsoon rain in the month of June, 1st June. It rains in Kerala. Then first week around 7th, it rains in Telangana, then Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra. Like that, it moves on. And this monsoon will be up to September, June to mid of September. And when it comes back, see, I don't know whether my cursor you can see or not. The monsoon enters from Arabian Sea. It blows to Kerala and then it moves up like this and then to all over India, and it hits the Himalayan mountain ranges, and also again pressure belts form and they return back, and while returning they touch the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Mainly when the monsoon is finishing or it is going back, we call it as retreating monsoon. So now there are 4 seasons in India. They are the cold weather season, we call it as winter, the hot weather season summer, advancing monsoon, the rainy season, that is June, July and August, retreating monsoon, the transition season. Transition means the changing season, that is mid of September to November. What happens? The rainfall will slow down and then winter starts. So that's why we call it as transition season. So retreating monsoon generally will be in the ending of September and early November. It rains heavily in Tamil Nadu. The cold weather season, winter. The cold weather season begins from mid-November in northern India and stays till February. December and January are the coldest months in the northern part. It goes below zero. Many parts of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, it goes to the minus. The temperature in Himalayas or Siachen, what we call highest mid-winter, highest winter, it goes around minus 65 degrees. And even in Rajasthan, there is a place called Churu. Churu, Rajasthan, it will be 0 degrees. Jaipur, it will be 4 degrees. Delhi, it will be 4 to 5 degrees. In the peak winter season, that is during end of December and January. During this season, the northeast trade winds prevail over the country. Even winds also are blowing, so it becomes very cold. To withstand that cold, it will be very difficult. By evening 6 o'clock, all people go inside the houses or they start piling up firewood and they want to be warm. The weather is normally marked by clear skies, low temperatures and low humidity and feeble variable winds. It will be very clear sky, low temperature and low humidity and very feeble, very less variable winds. Winds won't change. It will be in a constant manner. It will be blowing. The peninsular region does not have a well-defined cold season. That's why in southern part, Deccan Plateau and southern India, we don't have any proper winter. It won't be cold 1 or 2 days, 3 days. Cold wind will be blowing, that's all. So that's why we do not wear much warm clothes like sweaters or coats. Only few days early in the morning, it will be cold or late in the nights. So that's why we do not have a well-defined cold season. But this season is important for the Rabi crops. See, this is a North Indian weather condition. Completely fog. You cannot see anything even in the daytime also. And people have to gather like this for the cold, to withstand the cold. The hot weather season, that is summer. The hot weather season begins from March and continues up to May. In March, the highest temperature is about minimum of 38 degrees centigrade recorded in our Deccan Plateau. That is where we live. That is in the southern part of India. Here, one more thing, in peninsular India, temperatures remain lower due to moderating influence of the oceans. Because of the three side oceans, there is a moderating influence. A striking feature of hot weather season is the Lu. What is Lu? Lu is a very dangerous kind of wind which blows during summer. It affects the human health conditions, that when that wind blows into the ears and nose and on the body of the people who go around in the summer out, so they will get affected to the sunstroke, what we call sudden dehydration, and many people die also due to sunstroke. They get dehydrated very soon. These are strong, gusty, hot and dry winds blowing during the day. This is called Lu. Dust storms are very common during the month of May in northern India. In West Bengal, it is known as Kal Baisakhi. Towards the end of the summer season, pre-monsoon showers are common in Kerala and Karnataka. So we call it as pre-monsoon, when they will have some rainfall, and even we call sudden rainfall, that is, even we call it as mango showers. All the mangoes on the trees, they suddenly fall because of this wind and early pre-monsoon rainfall. Look at the pictures of summer. Advancing monsoon, the rainy season. By early June, the low pressure condition over the northern plains intensifies. It attracts the trade wind of the southern hemisphere. As these winds blow over warm oceans, they bring abundant moisture to the subcontinent. The inflow of the southwest monsoon. Southwest means where? In the Arabian Sea part. In India, brings out a total change in the weather, because the wind is blowing from ITCZ towards the Gulf countries and towards our country through Arabian Sea. The maximum rainfall of this season is received in northeastern part of the country. Northeastern part of the country. In our country, northeastern states. Another phenomenon associated with the monsoon is its tendency to have breaks in rainfall. Thus, it has wet and dry spells. There will be gap. That's why we call it as wet and dry spells. These breaks in the monsoon are related to the movement of monsoon trough. The movement, first it will be in the southern part of country, then central, then Deccan Trap, then it goes towards the north, then northeastern, like that. So the monsoon is known for its uncertainty. There is no certainty, there is no fixed time when they fall. Only they fall during June and mid-September. The alteration of dry and wet spells vary from each other and is responsible for droughts or floods. If it rains heavily, we get floods. If it doesn't rain, we get droughts. So both are dangerous for us. See how the rainy season. These are the few pictures. Now let us have a look at the mechanism of monsoon in India. Summer, see, ITCZ, the winds are easterly trade winds, westerly trade winds. They are blowing and they are coming, and see, this is near the Tropic of Cancer. And these are blowing towards the from north to south during winter, these winds. Retreating monsoon. We were talking about the retreating monsoon, that is the transition season. During October-November, with the apparent movement of sun towards the south, the monsoon or the low pressure trough becomes weaker. The monsoon becomes weaker with low pressure. This gradually replaced by high pressure system and temperature is becoming cooler. By beginning of October, the monsoon withdraws from the northern plains. From the north, that is Uttar Pradesh and other places, they start withdrawing. It is marked because the winds from the northern side, they are pushing this monsoon winds and they are withdrawing, coming back. It is marked by clear sky and rise in temperature. The low pressure conditions over northwestern. Northwestern means India get transferred to Bay of Bengal. All winds blow towards Bay of Bengal by early November. So while blowing towards Bay of Bengal, it starts raining again. So that's why we see more rainfall in the coastal areas towards Bay of Bengal, that is towards our eastern part of our country. So Tamil Nadu gets highest rainfall during this time, during November, during retreating monsoon. Now, children, this chapter is a bit confusing for you. I should not say confusing, but it has a lot of content which you need to understand a lot. That's why I have tried to get you maximum slides in my uh, this chapter where you can understand with the links and try to learn, try to understand that, and almost all the pictures are put in your textbook where you can understand which type of winds blow from which place to which, and every source that is in the boxes, blue colored and uh, uh, peach color boxes, there are given some information which you need to understand, like Coriolis force, ITCZ, orographic rainfall, all these are given in the sources, and even in your examination you will get source based questions, and these are the basic things which are needed to understand to learn this chapter. And again, I would like to repeat the same thing. Unless you read the textbook thoroughly, unless you underline all the key points in your textbook with a pencil and note down in your notebooks, learn those key points which makes you the best notes for you, and then go through your study material whatever you want and prepare your notes, and then try to answer the question answers. That is the best way to learn. Thank you very much.